Hello everyone. Let's talk about Pluribus. Um, so I didn't know about this show until right before it premiered. Um, I'm a big fan of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, and so naturally, um, I was going to tune into this show. And I'm going to try and keep this no spoilers. Um, so if there are spoilers, I'll mention it. But I enjoyed the first few episodes, but the past few, they felt like they were 10 minutes long. And that's not a compliment. Um, I'm not saying the time flew by, because there was so much uh, plot and story. No, there's so little plot and story and so much filler that it feels like there's only 10 minutes of actual content. And it really feels like they're drawing this out to such an insane extent that, and reading interviews and stuff, they said they're open to making it last 5 or 6 seasons. I can't see that being possible without losing people, or without at the very least losing me. It's like they took a really great idea and an extra long, like hour and a half, 2 hour episode of The Twilight Zone, and just stretched it infinitely. So out of an hour-long show, you'll get maybe one plot point or two. That just ain't it, man. You cannot sustain people's interest doing that shit. Especially when you have a character who is so angry and so stressed all the time. And I understand, it's the situation and it's the nature of the show. It's understandable that she would be stressed. But I don't know. I mean, we're talking about this latest episode. It was like we're at the 12-day mark. So this woman has been, outside of watching some comfort shows like The Golden Girls, this woman has been on edge for 12 days. And this is not a knock on Ray Seahorn or any of the other actors, or it's just really tough to watch a character who is that intensely stressed all the time. And it was similar to her character in Better Call Saul, because she was so constipated in that show that, and you could see it, and you could hear it in her voice, and how she would talk, and she was just holding in so much, and it was just like, God, somebody get this woman a laxative or something. And again, that's not a knock on Ray Seahorn. She's doing a great job. She's doing what is written. She's performing it as written, and that's great. That's fine. But it's. I think the audience needs time, to kind of see the character come down a little bit. There was a scene, and this isn't really a spoiler, but there was a moment in this latest episode where the character said, fuck 'em. And that genuinely got a laugh out of me, and I thought it was great. And it felt right, and that's what I would have done. You know, I like the character. I like Carol. I would probably be reacting similarly in those circumstances. She's very proactive, and she sees a problem, she wants to solve it, and that's great. I think that's what a lot of characters do in film and television, you know. Characters kind of have to be proactive for there to be, you know, a movie or a TV show. But she has so little joy that she takes in any of it, you know. And I think if she had a more sarcastic angle to her, if she was more flippant, I think it would really help the audience. Because I read the comments, and for me it's not, I don't put a lot of stock in other people's feelings about something, but sometimes I'm curious to know what people think about a certain show or whatever, and I don't read the comments until after I've watched the episode. To not be unduly influenced or to get, you know, to avoid spoilers. But I hear a lot of people saying she's a Karen. Now, I don't agree with that. I think any rational, intelligent person would be like, this, you know, the death of creativity, the death of creation, the death of action, really, of drive, could be a bad thing, you know, for humanity. We'd stagnate, you know. Now, certainly you know, you could have too much of all of those things, and we get like what we have now, which is, you know, untempered greed and the destruction of our environment and our society and everything else. But to go in the complete opposite direction, where you have the loss of everything, including any kind of individuality and any creativity. I mean, what's Carol going to do? She's a writer. Who's going to read her books and derive joy from them? I mean, you could write a book, have one person read it, and because they have the memories of your, spoilers, I guess, because they have the memories of your partner, apparently they have some of that emotion as well, and they would want to spare your feelings. You know, so you would never get an honest review. Or if you did, you'd have to like literally drag it out of them. And then you'd risk killing millions of people if you tried to drag the truth from them too hard. So, yeah, for Carol, it's the end of everything that she had. You know, it's clear she identifies herself so strongly as a writer. And so in a world where there is no creativity, where it's completely unnecessary, what is a writer to do? You know, what is a writer without an audience? What is an artist without an audience or a viewer? I mean, certainly you can fulfill yourself, you know, expressing yourself, but after a while, you know, with no audience, it becomes pretty stale. So, um, but yeah, there's not enough meat on the bones of these episodes lately. The last few episodes. Um, I'm along for the ride. I want to see where they go with it. Um, but yeah, like I'll watch an episode, I'll remember two things from it, you know, because nothing happens. So I hope they start creating denser episodes, because I hate it when filmmakers try to artificially pad their work. I mean, it's very obvious and it's very aggravating. And when you have these long form uh, stories, that always happens, and it just makes them a slog. I mean, who wants to sit there for 13 hours and watch what is essentially an hour's worth of content? Content being, for lack of a better word, content can be in this uh, instance exchangeable with plot. Uh, One thing I did like about the series is that there was no mystery. The purpose of the show was not to figure out, oh, what's going on? Is there this conspiracy? No. We start off and it just happens, and within the first episode, it's global, and it's already taken place. And so what we're doing is exploring the aftermath, essentially. And I love that. I didn't want the series to be this big, long, drawn out mystery, because I had zero interest in that. But hopefully it doesn't turn into a big, long, drawn out non-mystery. Anyway, those are my thoughts, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.